Hello everyone, welcome back to Becca's Book Nook. Today I'm going to be filming the Unpopular Book Opinions tag. I know tags aren't really a big part of BookTube anymore, but back when I first started watching them, they were, and I had always wanted to participate in so many of them, so I'm going to, even though I haven't been tagged in them. So, as you can tell by the title, this tag has a few questions based on unpopular opinions I have on books, authors, tropes, and a bunch of things like that. Please don't get mad at any of my opinions. They're just my personal opinions. I'm not trying to offend anyone. Comment down below if you agree with any of these or if you definitely don't agree with them. I'd love to just know your opinions as well. So without further ado, I'm just gonna jump right into the video and I hope you all enjoy. The garbage truck just decided to make a stop, so. The first question of this tag is, what is a popular book or a series that you did not enjoy? For this one, I'm gonna have to go with the Folk of the Air trilogy, or the Cruel Prince trilogy by Holly Black. I read the first two books of this trilogy in the summer, and then I read the most recent one just a couple months ago, and I was pretty disappointed by this trilogy just because I had seen it hyped up on literally every social app everywhere, especially Book Talk and BookTube. People just really love this series, and I unfortunately did not feel that way. I don't know what it was about the trilogy, if it was something to do with the world or if the story just felt a little bit lacking in a couple areas for me. But yeah, I really just did not enjoy the trilogy as a whole. I wish I did, but there was just something about it that felt almost, I don't want to say immature, but sort of just childish to me. I also just really didn't like Carden until the last book. He was genuinely awful to her, and don't get me wrong, I'm all about a bad boy redeemed, but there was just something about him literally bullying her that just didn't sit well with me. I just really didn't enjoy it. Overall, I just didn't enjoy the relationship dynamic as a whole. Taryn really bothered me, if that's even her name, I genuinely don't remember. And Jude's narration just wasn't it for me, so this is definitely a book series that I did not enjoy as much as I thought I would. The next question of this tag is, what is a popular book or series that you did enjoy that others do not? And for this one, I'm gonna have to go with the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. I also read this series last summer and thoroughly enjoyed all the books except for maybe the second one, which I found a little bit slow. But it seems that most people that have read this series did not enjoy it as much as I did, which is very odd to me. I really enjoyed the sci-fi fantasy elements of this book. I loved the characters, I loved the world, and I loved the romance. And yeah, like I stated previously, I thoroughly enjoyed every book except for the second one because it was slow. And it surprises me that so many people don't find this series as enjoyable as I did, but I guess it wasn't for everyone. I really enjoyed these books, and yeah, it makes me a little bit upset that others don't enjoy them as much as I did. The next question in this tag is, what is a love triangle where the main character didn't end up with the person you wanted to, or they ended up with an option that you did not like? For this question, I really only have one possible answer, and it's Mal and Alina from the Shadow and Bone series. This is probably one of the only answers in this tag that I know is not exactly unpopular, but it was the only one that I could really think of because I just despise it so much. Mal and Alina just definitely should not have ended up together, and I will die on that hill. Mal was boring and just super bland, and especially when she's presented with someone as phenomenal as Nikolai, who literally proposed marriage to her and was just the sweetest little baby in the whole series. He's funny, he's sassy, I love him, and she just ends up with boring old Mal, who I really thought was not gonna happen. I truly thought that Alina was gonna end up with the Darkling. As much as I wanted her to end up with Nikolai, I really did not expect her to, unfortunately, and I really did think she was gonna end up with a Darkling. So when she ended up with Mal, I was just like, really? The worst out of 3 options? And yeah, I'm saying Mal's worse than someone who's literally trying to murder everyone in the world. With the TV series coming out soon, I'm really interested to see how they paint all these characters. I know Nikolai's not even going to be in the first season, which is unfortunate, but I'm interested to see if they make Mal a little bit more interesting. Or maybe some people don't even hate Mal. I know my mom didn't have an issue with him, but something about him was just really boring, really off, and I'm just forever gonna be upset that they ended up together. At the same time though, Alina's kind of annoying too, so maybe she ended up with the perfect person for her, and I guess Nikolai deserves better too, but this is just the best answer I could come up with for this question. The next question is, what is a book genre that you do not normally reach for? And my answer to that is definitely horror books. I am a person that gets really scared, really disturbed super easily, so I definitely do not usually gravitate towards horror books. I would be willing to maybe try one out, but I feel like it wouldn't turn out well for me in the long run, so I think for now I'm just going to stick to my fantasy and contemporary romance. The next question of the tag is, who is a beloved character that you cannot stand? Once again, this is probably the easiest answer I've ever had to give. And it's gonna have to be Snape from the Harry Potter series. I know that the Harry Potter fandom is split on whether or not they like Snape as a character, but ever since I was 11, I have always despised Severus Snape. He is one of my least favorite book characters of all time, and I could just literally rant about him for hours. I'll save that for another video maybe. But yeah, he's just always been my least favorite character. I've never liked him. I've never been able to see him go through a redemption arc, and that's just forever going to be my only answer. I am not going to hate on you for liking Snape. I know lots of people who do like him, but however, if people want to get into an argument about why I think he's the worst character, then I'll definitely partake in that, but I'm not going to give hate to anyone who has different opinions than me. That's just how I feel personally. The next question in the tag is, who is a popular or beloved author that you just cannot seem to get into? And my answer for this is definitely Tahara Mafi. A couple years ago, I tried to read Shatter Me. I gave it like a good college try, and I just could not get anywhere near to being into this book. I actually recently unhauled it from my shelf because I knew I was never going to give it another chance since I've given it so many. And it makes me upset because I know so many people love this series. I just personally could not get into it at all. I had no interest in the story, no interest in the characters, and a part of me just really didn't like the writing. I don't know if I just didn't give it enough of a try. I mean, I feel like I did, but maybe if I tried again I would enjoy it. I just feel like I personally don't want to go through that again. Once again, this is absolutely no hate towards Tahara Mafi. I'm sure she's a wonderful writer and her books are enjoyable to some people. I just personally could not get into it and can't see myself trying to get into it again. The next question of this tag is, what is a popular trope that you are tired of seeing? And I've got to say, I'm not a huge fan of the dead parents trope. I know having dead parents gives the main characters trauma and gives them motivation to complete their storylines, but it's honestly just very upsetting, and I feel like a book can be written without the main character being an orphan, and I would just really like to see more family dynamics in books. I feel like there's just way too many series that I've read that the parents are just eliminated right away, and I feel like a story could be given more depth if they did have family, if the main characters are more family oriented. Once again, this is just my opinion. This question was really hard for me to answer because I do like most of the popular tropes that are going around these days. The next question is, what is a popular book or series that you have no interest in reading right now? I know I might get in trouble for this one, guys, but my answer is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I've heard so many amazing things about this book, and I was so excited to read it. I counted down the days until I could buy it because so many people said it was just the most beautiful story that they had ever read, and I could not wait to get into it. And then I started reading it and was still on like page 30 after like 2 weeks. As hard as I tried, I really just could not get into this book, and it definitely could have had something to do with the fact that I tried to read it right after I read Chain of Iron, and I feel like that book kind of put me in a little bit of a reading slump, so I feel like that definitely did have a part in why I was not interested in the story of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. but I really just could not get into it no matter how hard I tried. Because of this, I did decide to just put it right back on my bookshelf and said that I'd get to it later, but at the moment I really just have no intention of returning back to the story, and I feel like I'm going to be reading a bunch of other books to try and just get me back in the reading mood, and I'll hopefully return to it when I have time, when I feel like it. I just really don't have any need to return to it at the moment, and I don't really want to because I couldn't get into the story, and I feel like that's not going to change if I try again. I really do eventually want to get through this book because I've heard from so many people that it could be technically hard to get into, but then it gets so much better towards the end. So I would like to see the novel through eventually, just not anytime soon. The last question of this tag is, what is a popular TV show or movie that you thought was better than the book? This question was super hard for me, guys, because any of my fantasy books that I've read or any of my popular books I've read are always like 20,000 times better than the movies. I think everyone can agree on that. So I had to do some serious thinking, and eventually I came up with Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. While I did really enjoy this book, I found the story just much more compelling and interesting when it was in the form of a movie. I don't normally feel that way about book-to-movie adaptations, but I think it definitely could have had something to do with the fact that I watched the movie first, unfortunately, since I hadn't even known it was a book before I saw the movie. I also am just in love with Sam Claflin and Emilia Clarke, so I feel like this movie just really spoke to me, and I just really enjoyed it. So when I did read the book, I enjoyed it as well, but I still had a special place in my heart for the movie. Okay, so that is it for the unpopular book opinions tag. I had so much fun filming this. I hope you all enjoyed watching it. Please comment below some of your unpopular book opinions. I would love to hear them. If you did have fun watching this video, please give me a like and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content. I will link some of my socials down below if you want to go ahead and follow me on there, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks, bye!